Faith and friction. Hi, I'm Joe Danini, and I'm going to share with you today some information on faith and friction. Two concepts that seem to be polar opposites, and maybe they are, or maybe they're not. We live in a world dominated by friction. Friction is conflict. In fact, when we talk about it from a scientific point of view, it's the rubbing of an object, it's a tension, it's a force. Now, all of us can probably relate to that in our everyday lives personally, whether it be on jobs, health, relationships. We all experience friction probably on a daily basis. Publicly, we also experience it. Just turn on the TV or turn on the news, you see international conflicts, politics, roles of government, etc. All of these areas in our public world that we live in are full of areas of friction. So this might sound kind of despairing or might sound depressing, but it doesn't necessarily have to, because there is a counterforce to this friction. That is faith. Now you might say, well, what does faith have to do with this? Well, first, what is faith? And faith is a confidence. It's a belief. It's believing in something that we cannot see, knowing that there's something larger than ourselves, a greater good. And how do we get this God-given gift, this faith, to be able to put it into perspective, to see that the world that we live in with all the friction isn't the end of the answer? Well, it needs practice, like anything else. And as we practice through experience, through conversations, through learning that there are other perspectives to than what we see on face value in our world full of friction, over time we develop peace. We develop a perspective and trust. And ultimately, it creates hope. And when we are filled with hope, then the catalyst for change, to act, to do something is born. It is then that we see that there's something much larger than ourselves, much larger than the friction, that we can make a change. And plenty of friction exists in this world, because as we know, we've gotten pretty good at creating it. But now is the time to get really good at creating more faith, to be the force that stands in front of friction. Something to think about. And I'm Joe Danini. Thanks for listening.